In 15 years journey, you started in only with Australia.
Aussizz, we have 35 plus branches across the globe,
yeah.
but 26 branches we have only in Australia. I think US and UK have been always a popular market.
Many people I have seen, people who come here without PR, they struggle for PR.
I started in 2009. Australia has a quite decent migration intake plan.
So how do you see in the next coming 5 years with Australia?
Government is not that keen.
A lot of difference in the dignity of labor also in Australia.
Yes. I think students now had a good opportunity.
You like India or Australia? What?
So my heart is always stays with India, but my 18 years of journey, into preference of Australia.
Do you think that is going to reflect with migration in the coming years?
Average, below average, or even above average, people will still prefer to go abroad.
Yeah.
It means that the knowledge and resource has nothing to do to become a good consultant.
Hello everyone. Studying and living abroad is a dream for many of the Indians, and for that matter for many other country. Australia is a dream country where so many people wants to come, and consultancies play a vital role in fulfilling their dreams. The person I'm going to introduce has started his business 15 years back in Australia, and he's running successfully with more than 35 plus branches in Australia and abroad. Let me introduce Dharmendra Patel, founder and director of Aussizz Group and conclave. Hi Dharmendra, how are you?
I'm good, and thank you for putting me on your show.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Dharmendra ji, I just want to congratulate first for 15 years anniversary celebrations, completing 15 years of your journey with Aussizz Group.
Thank you, really appreciate for that.
Thank you. So, tell me where exactly you have started your journey. So when did you come to Australia, and how it all started?
So actually, I came in Australia in 2005. I came here for Master of Engineering in Deccan University. Actually, I was good at study, and I did my Bachelor of Engineering. And as any middle class family, my parents were also keen. I'm from Gujarat, and so my parents were keen that I'd like to send one of me or my brother to abroad. And I was good at study, so they bet on me, and they thought okay, better you go. And so I did came here for study Bachelor of Engineering in Deccan University. I completed my study, and I was about to get my PR, and that was my first trip. I went to India after completing the study, and I realized that a lot of my friends and family members, because those days not many Indians were in Australia,
Yeah.
And so they've been asking me that okay, they want to go, and I was actually just referring them to the official website of the government, which regulates the agents, which is mara.gov.au, and I was referring them to the registered migration agent in nearby location, and I found that okay, how to become a registered migration agent. And I realized that I'm qualifying for that because I was someone who has done a degree in Australia, and anyway, there is a minimum criteria is bachelor degree. Then I had my English score. I was about to get my PR. So I thought I'm qualifying for that. I think this can be a good opportunity for me, as even doing Master of Engineering and getting my permanent residency somewhere I was not motivated to make a career in my field, as it was little challenging as well, and I was not motivated enough to pursue the career in engineering after studying 6 years. So I realized it's good if I'll study some immigration law and practice, and then I will see if my interest will sparks into it. But it worked well. So I started Aussizz in 2009.
So there is no other plans and all, just it started with the requirement. Many people were asking.
So I think it was accidentally I entered this industry because I was someone who really don't want to do something which I don't enjoy. So after completing the study, as I was good at study, I completed my engineering without any flaws, and I knew that if I would apply for a job, I could get a job, but I was just not motivated to do something which I was not enjoying. So this happened. and this happened, which happens good.
Yeah, you started accidentally, but what kind of is everything was smooth and how exactly was the journey? So you saw any?
So that is something very interesting story, because as you see the name of my company, Aussizz, we only did we started with the ideas that like we'll only deal into Australia.
Yeah, because that's what but only Australia I have seen with many all the other branches is that
So actually, because I when I started, idea was very simple, that like, okay, obviously I want to do what I actually can enjoy, and at the same time I only wanted to do something which is right. So I decided only to promote Australia, because I only studied in Australia, I knew Australia.
Yes.
And I was confident with my own journey, so I thought like it's better to advise the people who you know,
exactly.
who do you know. And
Yeah.
so I decided only to promote Australia, and that's why like my company born as Aussizz Group,
Yeah.
And I started in 2009, and it is a very interesting story, because if you'll see that like in 2009, mainly the 1st July, even I know the date, and there was one incident happens on the Flinders Street station nearby, like with the taxi driver. So there was a stabbing with the taxi driver, and I think it turns into the like racist attack, event. Though obviously it was a very different story, but this particular attack of stories of attack in terms of the racism, I think it has actually took a fire in our Indian media.
Yeah.
And those days, like not many parents wanted to send their children in Australia. So if you remember that was the time in 2009-10 where like the whole industry fall down, and even the government has like started restricting Indian students because of that issue, and I started my business in 2009 in January. So you imagine that like the first 6 months, as I had no experience in this field, I was motivated to do it because I liked it, and so I was learning, and I was just preparing myself, as I didn't have an experience in a business and neither in a domain, So when I was preparing for the website and training my staff and building the processes and all those stuffs, in those first 6 months I was very confident, because Australia was in a huge demand, and after 1st July such incident happened, it suddenly fall apart. So you can compare that incident with the 2008 recession. So those racist attacks and those media stories, it has actually pulled whole things down. But I was motivated still only doing Australia. Those days, a lot of agents, even the known agents for Australia, they started promoting other countries, and I could change my path, but as I said, like I only wanted to do what
Australia,
I knew and what is right, and so I stick with Australia. But what happens, like that challenging time has actually pushed me so hard that actually I learn, and I learned those level of immigration and education of Australia, which has actually helped the Aussizz to shape its journey what is today. It's today. So I think that challenging time, which has actually tested my determination, and I didn't move from my initial focus, which was only Australia. I think we become an excellent in Australia, and today we are the biggest immigrant firm in Australia.
Exactly, that's what I wonder. See, I have seen so many businesses they do for different other countries, but I have seen that they are sticking. Of course, they are doing to different countries, but they are not able to expand. That fast or whatever. Might be the reasons. There will be many reasons, but whenever I see you. Even I'm you know me, like I know you like for several months and all, years and all. It's not that easy to have the determination, so focused, and that too only to particular country. And focusing on that and expanding all these things is not that easy.
Yes,
definitely. I think there's a lot of.
No, I think when we focused on Australia, and initially when we started, we had no idea how far we'll go. But one thing was sure, that like I was enjoying what I was doing, because I think my foundation has been laid on the challenging circumstances and the honesty, because I only want to sell what I knew, and I think it was a challenging circumstance which has actually pushed me hard to learn the things from every left, right, and center corner, and when we learned to push our boundaries, we just kept doing it without realizing that like how with only destination Australia, how big you can grow, But I think it has actually paid well, because I believe that like focusing only one country has also actually made us more focused in our vision and into the targeting our market. I think it has actually simplified our journey in terms of the training the people and making the people more passionate where they belongs to. So if you'll see Aussizz, we have 35 plus branches across a globe, but 26 branches we have only in Australia, and we have like more than 300 plus human resource working in Australia, and all those people are from Australia, and somewhere 95% people are actually the students who came in Australia, and then they actually gone through their migration journey and settled in Australia. So they knows very well the equation of migrant, and I think it has helped me to train them very easily, because they've been a part of the journey by themselves. I don't need to teach them about all those things, and domain expertise. I think we have good domain expertise because of our early learning, So I think these two combination has actually helped us to scale in Australia, and now our expansion in different countries. Like last year we opened the branch in Hong Kong and Canada. So now we are actually looking toward the different destination by learning it,
Good. So I know that you started different products as well from Aussizz Group.
Yes. So the idea was very simple. That like when
these are all around the students only. The
yes.
I can see how focused you are.
So when we've been actually growing Aussizz, we realized that while we are actually dealing in this particular industry, obviously there are two factors, of this decision making. That like why we enter into this ancillary service products. Obviously it is not new concept. I think every business who actually doing who are expert into one domain, I think they always actually expand their service into the ancillary for two reasons. Obviously the business wants to grow, they want to actually make more revenue channel, but at the same time they also want to make it simplified and client connection by offering that range of services, so the client doesn't need to go to some other person, and you can. But it's not that easy to excel into those ancillary services while you are good at domain, and that's where like I realized that I was believer of technology, as I by myself has studied 6 years in engineering, So my everything what we were developing in line with the student services, which is like PT tutorials, CCL tutorials, which is CCL is one of the exam which earns the students 5 points for their peer pathway. PT is obviously Pearson test of English, which is English language test. IELTS tutors, again the similar line, it's IELTS tutors. Get My Policy is like overseas student health cover and overseas visitor health cover. OccuSearch is it's a migration tool which helps the students to understand that like based on their occupation how they're qualifying for their immigration journey, So I think we made all this thing, and if you see the common line is the technology. We believe that like we can only scale or can actually reach to the students or can actually support the students with the technological advantage, advancement, and that's why like we only design everything in line with the technology to scale it up. And so my whole staff members who are across these branches, their focus should not deviate from their core services, which is migration and education, and all these ancillary services are based on the technology which can actually scale and can reach to the large number of audience, without your staff who are actually focusing on the main domain has to deviate.
This will help them as well.
It helps them, and it has also helped us like to build our branding as well, because we are one of the rare who is excelling into all these domains as well, along with immigration and education.
Because see, many of the times I have seen you are not coming outside, but I'm only seeing your work, your expansions, and which is incredible, which I really have to appreciate that. Otherwise, you will not come this long for sure. And what exactly your vision was, because I have seen many of the other branch owners, directors, or whatever you name it, RMs and all. I know them pretty well from the initial days and all. It's not that easy to build a relationship with them and coming to. So what do you think? How exactly you planned? How do you actually get all this in one place, inclined?
So see, like idea was never, let's say, what we are today, it was never a plan. we have just crafted our road along with the journey. So it means that like I don't think too far. My whole goal is like to make the journey comfortable and excited and growing for at least when in your present time and for the nearby time. You know, so I just look at the things that like, okay, what is a trend now? What is people are actually looking for? Are we good at it? You know what I mean? Can we build it? And how I can actually take along with those aspiring people along with me, they will learn and then they will take care of it. You know, so from the day one when I started my journey, I actually bet on the people. You know, I'm the people's person. I love to grow the people, and I'm someone who's not giving up easily on people, and be it like my client, be it my partners, be it my staff, be it my like industry people. You know, I just don't give up. It means that like, you know, whenever I do something, I take along with the person while, say for example, PT tutors, when we design the product, I had like a few people who had not much experience into the field, but they've been good and like in a critical thinking, they've been street smart, and they had something in their mind to grow, you know. And so I always choose such kind of people along with me. And what happens, like when we are actually designing those things, obviously those people are very ambitious, aspiring. They think out of box, they learn very quickly, and they take ownership, and then they take the things further. So while initially I'm working with them, on the later stage, whole credit goes to them, who's actually developing all those products to the next level. You know,
I would say that is the success mantra. Not everyone can, if they want to do also, everyone cannot do. I think that you have a very good.
I think I'm good with it. I think I have natural leadership style. I'm also people's person. So and also I have very good eyesight to look at the people's, because I'm a value based person. So basically, you know, I look at the 2-3 things. If the person should be street smart, not academically smart, but street smart. Means like the person has used the logic and common sense, you know, to get the things done without actually coming with the flows, you know. The second thing, I'll always look at like person really want to prove himself. See, this is like somewhere when people are aspiring, it's not that easy to channelize their energy or to maintain them along with your journey, you know, because their aspiration is too high, you know. But I'm good at it, like, you know, building the relationship and coming together and growing together, you know. Not just controlling, but not controlling, but I can say the word, the exact word is like, you know, growing together. It means that like you are creating the opportunity for everyone. So while I'm growing them, I also look at that like how their growth will also reward me. You know what I mean? So I think I'm good at building the equation as a win-win situation. And so I'm good at, like, you know, managing their aspiration, because their aspiration is the growth ultimately. If they are keep growing, they have no reason to be depart from me. You know what I mean? And I believe that like creating the opportunity for your aspiring people is something which will also drives you. At the same time, it will also help the people to grow within your organization and retain them within your organization. You know,
definitely 100%. That is the reason you are here. For sure. And I'm also seeing that, you know, so many people who are with you also. It's a long journey. It's not a short journey. Like, for sure.
Obviously, 26 branches in Australia, and you can say there is a 26 directors, and we have no system where we just expand ourselves just because someone wants to invest. We have very simple rules. Anyone who can become our partner is like someone who has invested minimum 3 years in our organization, who understands our value system, who understands our mission vision, and who is also eligible for this domain, because ultimately we are dealing with the students and their aspiration. You know what I mean? So we just can't actually bet on the person who are not motivated or interested to work in this way. So I think there are a few parameters, and I think it worked very well for us, and I think now we comfortably growing our business with this particular
which is rules. That should go in the flow and all, definitely. But apart from this, definitely you might have seen other ventures or other opportunities. If I may ask you, like this is Aussizz is the only whole and soul that you have looked into and growth or
Yes,
are there any other businesses?
So, like Aussizz is my first business basically, you know, and obviously along with the journey when you grew, you know, I have actually created many products in line with the clients of Aussizz, which is, as I said, like PT Tutor, CCL, IELTS, and all those things. But they are like a few products in line with the Aussizz journey, you know. Apart from that, like I have another company which is an IT firm. We are in a startup business, conclave. Conclave is something has been started in 2018, and we are actually into the making of the CRM system, in making of like, you know, comparison sites for the insurance. We are into the making of Search My Score and Search My NOC. At the same time, we also have the Concheck, which is like the government. We are affiliated government company. Which can issue the police clearance certificate for the people who are needs a national police check. You know, not for the immigration purpose, but for the work purpose. General. Yeah, you know that like Uber driver security. Yeah, so they can apply on our website. It's a like whole process. So basically, we send their applications to the government database. They check the database, that brings the result, and we can issue the certificate. You know, so it's a more compliant product. And apart from that, we have a Consign, which is a digital signature platform. Similar in line with the DocuSign, but our company is actually more focusing on the small to medium enterprises in terms of the integration and document management system. You know, so that's my another company. And apart from that, like yes, I have like some of the investment different third party businesses.
Coming back to Aussizz, I want to ask you. It's been 15 years journey. You started in only with Australia. So if I ask you, what are the changes that you observed in these 15 years? Whether people are coming, more people are coming, or the migration? I know that, you know, from 2010-12 to 2020, so many migrants were there. People moved
here. I think you know, Australia has got a traction, you know, by 2006-7. You know, so if you see the journey history, I know in India, I think US and UK been always a popular market, you know, and then Canada also got the traction, and then in 2000s, you know, like Australia and New Zealand has started getting momentum. Okay, not many students used to come those days, but the government policy has actually boosted, you know, and by 2007-8, I think Australia has got a very good name in terms of the top 5 destination countries. You know, but the incident happens in 2009. It has actually somewhere, you know, slowed down the numbers from mainly Indian subcontinent, you know, till 2013. But afterward, again, like people shared their experience while living in Australia, and then again the confidence arise within the Indian students, and they started coming in Australia. You know, I think Australia has a decent education providers who's world recognized universities and institutions. At the same time, certainly the immigration pathways is very clear for the international students to get a permanent residence in Australia. I think that has become more instrumentals for the students to come in Australia. You know, though the government policies always in line with attracting the international students and maintaining the Australia's position into the competitive market for the top 5 destination country, because for Australia it's a export business. You know what I mean? And they want to maintain their position. But at the same time, their immigration program is also to curb their labor shortage and the skill shortage. You know, and I think it's been a big challenge for Australia as migration and like students inflow is a big part of their migration strategy in terms of you know, overcome the challenge of the skill shortage and labor shortage. You know. And so it's going on, and I think lifestyle wise and weather wise and you know, in other way, like it's a multicultural country, you know, and I think any country people who comes to Australia, I think they have very good experience living in Australia. You know, you and me are different, you know? So I think no one has a complaint that like why they could settle. Yes, it is a challenging journey till you settle, but once you settle, I think you don't regret.
Many people I have seen, people who come here without PR, they struggle for PR, and soon they get the PR, even they will not wait even one day to get their citizenship. I have seen a lot of students mainly. When they get the PR, they'll get the eligibility for citizenship in the next 1 year or so.
1 year, so
soon they'll get the citizenship. Yeah, I have seen a lot of it. So, how do you see in the coming years, coming to Australia? How open is Australia to bring?
See, I
migrants?
think Australia has a different set of challenges at the moment. The first thing is that, like, obviously there are political lobbying. I think they are not actually recognizing that level of contribution of migrants. Very frankly,
Practically.
I think migrant has contributed big time in this country, and I think the government has to look into that line. The problem here is this, that, like, obviously anything goes wrong with their policy making, I think it's easy to blame migrants. I think they had to change this mindset. Though the government and the political scenario, it's appreciating other way, because see, there is still migration is going on. There is still students influx is happening. But I believe that, like, in terms of the loud and clear statement, I think the government is little bit shy to appreciate the migrants and their contribution. This is what I have seen. Though they are acknowledging in a silent way, they are not loud in their statement, and that always creates the confusion, where someone thinks that, like, what? But I believe that, like, once you actually settle in this country, it's a multicultural country. There is a diversified leadership in politics, and I think that the things keep changing. But certainly at this moment, the accommodation shortage, which I believe is results of the poor government policy during the COVID. But now the pressure of this accommodation shortage, which obviously been hit by the locals over here, the government easily blaming the migrants and the students. But I don't think, because the cap of migration and students are in control with the government, and the government's plannings and that those things has not actually has been changed dramatically during last few years, But this situation happened, which I believe is a poor policy to curb the COVID. And there is a lot of construction company has been bankrupt. You know what I mean? So those things not just happening because of the migrants and students. Those things happening because of the poor government policy. And I think the government is not taking the stand against their own weakness. And but they are just passing the blames to the migrants, because somewhere, it's I believe because migrants has no power of vote, who are not citizens. You know what I mean? And so I think they are the poor lobby in terms of pushing the government.
It also has this kind of a political angle as well to some.
But I think this kind of angle is with every country. What I mean? Be it like US, Canada, UK. So as the government change, as their need arise, as their understanding toward their economy or supply, what I mean? They play with the migration level, in their own benefit. But certainly the migrants are also getting the benefit as they get an opportunity to work in such a wonderful countries, and they get an opportunity to grow and settle themselves.
So compared to 2010, so the migration number is more now. It got increased, right?
It has actually continuously flowing because it's a need of the country. Yes.
So what is the number like? Is US is in the number one position.
US, you can't compete in terms of the number of migrants, because see, US land size and US population, it's a completely tense, like from not land side but population wise, US is 10 times,
Exactly.
So their migration intake and their need is also bigger in that line, but Australia has a quite decent migration intake plan. For this year, they have just increased to overcome the shortage what they managed into COVID period. So they did like 260,000, which is a quite decent migration planning.
So how do you see in the next coming 5 years with Australia? Are we
I believe, see, the government is not that keen, but I think their policy and their scenarios can change with the economical circumstances, At the moment, the government is not keen because of their rare challenge of accommodation crisis, But if this challenge would have been overcome, I think they will actually look at from the different perspective, you know what I mean? But at the moment, their focus is the accommodation crisis, and it's real in Australia, that, you know what I mean? mean? So that is the biggest challenge for the government at the moment, not to consider, not to look at the migrants level for next 5 years. But obviously migrants are brilliant skilled worker. They are also good at, and the international students are good at labor shortage. So I believe that if Australia really wants to continue and grow their economy, I think they have no options left but to choose migrants and students,
Invite.
100%.
Yeah. So many people I have seen, they do business and they just go with the one business on what other activities. Business is the only motive. I have seen you doing some CSR activities as well. So what motivated you to give back to the community?
Yeah, so actually, when I started my business in 2009, and I came back to Australia because I started my business in 2009 from Ahmedabad, and then obviously as it was a challenging time, I came back in Australia in 2010 and I started here. When I started here, obviously one thing I knew that at the time the community was mainly, you consider that I'm dealing with the migrants and students, So when it comes to the migrant and student community, it was very small, and those days very few students and migrants has actually taken the brave steps, and they started doing the events, which can actually brings community together. As most of the students and migrants are living in a different corner of the city, it's very rare or hard for them to come along with, and only the culture and community events, they actually brings them together.
Yes.
So those days I knew that from the business point of view, I could actually go to that particular event and gathering, and I can actually promote my services amongst the people who are in need of these services. But at the same time, obviously it was a new very few people took a brave steps and they started doing this community events, and it was not easy for them to, and frankly till 2015-16, because I've been attached with so many events, I think we are the one of the company who may have actually sponsored highest number of community events.
I have seen you all other events.
So because the journey lies here, that obviously, but those days the events were not viable. It was not profitable for an event organizer, you know what I mean? But they brave enough to bring the community together. And I believe that they just needed a little bit of support from those days businesses. And I knew this concept very well, So what I did is anyone who was actually making an attempt to do such events, I was naturally aligning with them, and I said, man, it's okay, we are coming as a sponsor, though we are not committing a lot of sponsors in those days, in terms of the amount, because we were small, but in our own capacity, whatever we could do, we try to support every single event organization. And I think it has actually fruitful my relationship with them. At the same time, it has actually helps the community to come together. It has actually helped me to grow my business. And afterward, then I didn't look at the things that if it is just profitable for me or not. I just kept doing and helping every single community events wherever in whatever capacity I could, and I think it has rewarded us big time, because if you see today the Aussizz has
that increased the confidence on the brand as well.
100% confidence on the brand, and today I think we are known for this. I think a lot of people knows us that we are one of the biggest supporter of such activities. And after that, we have actually started promoting not just the community events, but we also started from taking the participation and supporting and sponsoring the government initiatives for the community. Also, some NGO works, also some religious institutions, wherever in whatever capacity they needed the support. I thought it's good to give back to the community, because somewhere it has actually rewarded us big time in our company.
Yeah, definitely. I have seen that. Yeah. So, with respect to students community, what is the major change that you have seen? Because maybe 7-8 years back, when a student come here, if you ask them to go out in a weekend, they used to tell that I have to work.
Yes,
I have to work for my survival. I can't come anywhere. But in recent timings, I have seen a lot of students are also they are enjoying. They are also coming out and all. What do you think has changed in this scenario?
Yeah, so the first thing which has changed is the economical differences between Australia and India. If you see like in 2008, 9, 10, when the students used to come, if you see their financial background of the family, unless their parents are from the business background or coming up from like from big profession like doctors,
doctors,
and,
engineers,
and good engineers, not just engineers, the big corporate engineers. The rest of the students, their financial background was not that strong, and as you know that like most of the middle class family students used to come to Australia, and so it means that like obviously they had a lot of responsibility in terms of how they're going to spend. And if you'll see that those days like banking sector was not that strong in India. If you'll see like mortgages, so the property prices in 2010 and 2020 compare like what was the property pricing in India in 2010 and what is the property pricing today. The same like what was the property price in 2010 in Australia and today. So obviously the Australian property market has also increased in size, but if you compare to India, it's completely different. The opportunity also during this period, like Uber and all the online players they came, and the microeconomic has grown big time. Before 10 years, the student had a very limited opportunity to work in some restaurants, fuel stations, like car wash, and very hardly in some white collar jobs. But these days, like if you will see, the students are well aware that like while they are on a student visa, they actually start their own startups. They goes into e-commerce business. They actually becomes a freelancer, and they actually do a lot of freelancing services. I think the online market has actually grown such a big time. Which needs those people who are looking for because say if you say Uber, I doubt like someone wants to be Uber driver for life. It's a temporary job. But it still needs the courage and understanding of the technology. I think students fits quite well in that segment. So if you say food delivery apps, and a lot of e-commerce business where people are actually just doing the drop shipping and all those stuff. I think students now had a good opportunity, and they are making good money apart from the study, not investing so much of effort. And that's where I believe that like those students' mindset is like, and obviously the generation change. Now students just don't want to actually earn and survive; they want to enjoy their life as well, and so certainly it's a huge change. But that only comes with the financial freedom.
Exactly. Of course, without that they cannot do.
They cannot.
I have seen a lot of change. In the last maybe 2-3 years, I have seen a drastic change. And one more thing is also when previously they used to come. There's a lot of difference in the dignity of labor also in Australia. They used to come, they used to do some, it's not a white collar job. They used to do all different other activities, business, but they used to feel shy telling that. Do you think now the scenario has changed because they are also doing they're also getting a good amount of job opportunities here in Australia? Is that happening?
So see, like when you say that the students been shying to tell, I think it was a social stigma basically. Obviously when you worked in Western world, I think no small job is a small. As a culture is very different than what it's back in India. I mean, it means that like you are doing a labor job, you're making more money than the professional job. And sometimes people prefer to work hard and doing those odd jobs, making more money and having the financial freedom and to do and to get the freedoms.
Not many understand that.
But it's a cultural difference. You know what I mean? But many times people understand because so I think people were not actually shying away to do those jobs even in old days and today. Because here when you land, I think the work culture is very different, but certainly acknowledging that back in India is a social stigma. I think over the period people have actually moved on, and obviously nowadays like people have the preference of jobs, so I think they're confident enough, and nowadays like if you see that like not many times people got that brave enough to say what they feel or to say what they do, what I mean? I think those freedoms came in a society, a social stigma is getting away, so I think that change I have seen, But I think even before, the people used to do whatever the jobs used to come across, not just because they've been forced, certainly, but they understand the work culture and they say there's nothing wrong to do it, as far as it's a part of your requirement.
I'll ask one personal question. If I ask you which you like, India or Australia, what do you say?
See, obviously, like if you'll ask me what you like, so my heart is always stays with India. But I spent like more than 18 years here. You know what I mean? So for me now, Australia something becomes my lifestyle, and so even the purpose of my life, doing the jobs and stuff. I think I align in line with Australia. But when it goes to the my heart, because obviously I'm a culturally oriented person. I'm still live. My culture lives in my heart. You know what I mean? So I think yes, here obviously it's not less than India, but certainly in India it's India. So when you say from cultural point of view and from heart's point of view, I'm more toward India. But from the practical lives and the current situation, or you can say like my 18 years of journey, puts me into preference of Australia.
Obviously, that sounds correct. So before you told that Indian economical changes also has grown rapidly. Many people are earning, they're feeling good to be there in India and all. So the changes that are happening there back in India, do you think that is going to reflect with migration in the coming years?
I don't think so, because India is a very populated country. So obviously, while in the current time and the coming time, there will be lots and lots of opportunity. But similar, like how there's a competition, it's a cutthroat competition. So I believe that like what happened, even though if you see like I was good at engineering, but I was not topper. So you can say like average, below average, or even above average, people will still prefer to go abroad, as there's enough toppers in India, to seize that opportunity. But certainly over the period, opportunity will be more there. And like in the past, like a lot of below average and average students used to force to go abroad to get success. I think in a coming time, those people will find an opportunity in India. So it will be their choice, not it will be the forcible situation for them. But I believe, considering the population and the competition, I think India will continuously export their human resource capabilities to other Western world. You know what I mean? As most of the Western world, because of their declining aging population, declining population, the increased aging population, I think they are actually forced to continuously bring more migrants, and I think India has the capability to supply.
That's for sure. So Australia is one among them. And
but one thing is for sure: the situation was forcible in the past will becomes optional in future. So the student who used to forcibly go abroad to succeed, I think in future it will becomes their optional. If they find it is hard in India, I think they will choose to go abroad, not like a forcibly that nothing will happen here. So I think that change will be there.
With some point of time, there's a kind of a bit of infrastructural changes, and some people want that kind of a different weather or whatever.
Yes, the lifestyle choice of lifestyle is always there. Obviously the Western world offers a very different level of lifestyle. So the people who are believing in a lifestyle, as I said, like, see, I'm a cultural person. Obviously Australia has given me a very good lifestyle, and which I also enjoy. But same time, like, my preference goes over my culture than lifestyle. But sometimes but for many people, they prefer their lifestyle, and it is not today, but even in the past, many people they come over here and they settle here because of their lifestyle choice.
That's the reason. Even so,
and that will be always there. But when we say that, like, about the trend of migration, I think India will have the capability to supply the human resource to all these countries where because of their aging population they are struggling to have the enough skilled laborers in place. I think India will have the capacity to outsource this particular numbers to these countries.
So you told Aussizz is expanding into different other countries. It's not just with the migration only to Australia. So you're also expanding to other countries. Is that right?
Yeah, so now our plan is to expand into different destination market, as like we have actually grown significantly in Australia. Obviously we are already doing well in Australia. Now as a ambitious goal of our company, we want to actually expand ourselves into different market, and that's why like we just started our office in Canada, and we are now getting good understanding about the destination of Canada, and so in future we will certainly expand ourselves into different destination market as well, and we want to actually becomes like multi-destination specialist. The reason is very simple, that like while we have such a good journey in terms of the industry, it's just a different destination, but when it comes to the basic requirement, I think it is the same. So say for example students wants to go to study any country, they will be required almost same document in a similar line, only the application form will be different, and like 2 to 5% questions will be different, but it will be the process and the requirement will be almost same. Exactly. So say for example if you want to study Australia, I would say okay, you need English, you need a financial requirement to show that like you are capable to manage your expenses, you need a written incentive to after study you want to go in your own country and to make your career there, or I will say you will be the genuine students. I think you will see if you want to go to Canada what they need a genuine student. You should have a genuine intention to study. You should have like a basic background to study further. You need a financial requirement. You need an English language requirement. You need a written incentives. If you go to US, even though there is an interview, the officer will look into only in these things. That like okay, why you aren't going to study abroad in US? What you want to study, what is your background, what is your financial capacity, what is your English language ability, what makes you to think that like after studying you will come back. If you go to any other country, even UK or New Zealand, I think it's on a similar fashion.
Now you go
so
to
we
confidence.
know, we know the domain very well. It's just that like experimenting yourself into different area. And while certainly when you are in education expansion, you have to have understand the career pathways and career objectives. Very well, which is mainly the knowing the universities and their quality and their the deliverables. So I think as far as you are be careful doing this and guiding your students well, I think you can actually solve any destination. And I'll tell you, in our industry, the intent to help the people is more important than how much you know.
That is very important, and because you are playing a vital role as you said before, like you are in fact helping them to get there. Any small mistake will change, and you should be very careful with whatever the steps, the guidance that you are giving to students.
So I always tell my team, like this is one of the area which I always tell my team to become a successful consultant. How you can become a successful consultant. I had no experience when I started this company, and as I said that in 2009 there will be very rare few companies whose founders would not have any experience, and while I didn't have any experience, I still successful. So many times I tell my team that like while you have a lot of people to answer your questions, while you have a lot of trainings going on, while you have a lot of resources to learn, while you can do all these things, and if you still struggle to become a good consultant, it means that like the knowledge and resource has nothing to do to become a good consultant. Why? Because to become a good consultant, the most important characteristic comes is like the empathy. You have to feel the person. See, it's a similar in line with the other consulting businesses. Like say for example, you have a doctor. If you are good at your practices because you know the medicine and you can actually give the right prescription to the right illness, and you are quick to find the illness, yes, you can be successful, but you cannot be the popular. Because the doctor who can connect with the people, who makes the people comfortable, who makes them too comfortable that don't worry, everything can be curable. The doctors who gives more confidence and rather than just the medical prescription gives the more confidence to the person that like if you follow the right practices, you will actually recover well. The similar in line with if you are talking about any other consulting business, be an architect. So architect, if you understand, you want to build your house and it means that like it's not just the house but it's your dream, and if it feels your emotion and can actually guide you in line with and give you enough confidence, I think they're the best consultants. So I think the consulting approach requires a more emotional connection to feel the person rather than just knowing what you are. Because see, if you are a street smart and if you are good at what you do and if you really feel the person, you will always have the questions, or you will be very careful before you drafting any ways. It means that like you will ask as many as question on behalf of that person to yourself, that like I have to be careful with this. If you have the questions, you will anyway find the answer. You know what I mean? Because this is another punchline to my team, that like before 40-50 years, when people were doing good in this world, you know, they didn't had much resources to get the answer.
Yes.
You know, but still they had a question and they went too far. Like they used to go to the city and find meeting to the scholar people and trying to get the answer. You know what is easiest in this current era? To get the answer. If you even the child, 5 years old child, if you ask him a question and you say it's okay, you use Google or anything or internet, and but you get me the answer, even the 5 years old child can get you the answer of your question, because they will put into the Google and will find the answer. They will go to the ChatGPT, they will find the answer. So in the current time, if you want to become a successful, what needs is a curiosity. You need to find the questions. The answer is always there. You know what I mean? So as a consultant, if I can feel some person and I really want to help him, then I will comes with as many as questions to myself. And as I have the questions, I can anyway find the answer, because there is a lot of resource available in today to get the answer. But those questions will actually make me more wiser and more intelligent, because I'm actually trying to figure it out the answer rather than just solving the problem with whatever the knowledge I have. You know what I mean? So even though I'm knowledgeable and someone is not knowledgeable, but that person feels someone, I think he can actually do the better result.
So you connect all the sessions to all the team members on timely basis?
So actually you see, it's usually what happens, like it is not a strategic discussion, but what happens, like obviously my aim is to connect with the team. So whenever I get an opportunity to connect the team, you know, I always make them believe in what they do. Because in the first place, I would say that like don't think this is as a job. If you are actually considering yourself as hourly this much of dollars you are making, you know what I mean, but you are actually dealing with someone's dream. Imagine like, and as I said, like we have 26 branches in Australia and 300 plus staff members are from Australia. So I always tell them, like, can you remember your journey when you came here? You know what I mean? How if you've been actually misguided by someone, or if someone couldn't have actually felt you, or someone is actually finding irritating when you are asking them a question, how would you actually feel yourself? You know, you would have actually felt isolated in this world. You know, you would have actually felt like no help from any corner, because you would have been felt like very cheated. But imagine, this is only to yourself. The feelings lies with yourself. No, that goes beyond. Can you believe that, like, from coming from the middle class family to this country, before even in landing in this country, how much struggle your family and you have actually done over there? So after doing all those things, if someone come here and if you are not actually feeling that person, and if you consider that person as just a number of the file, you know, rather than feeling the person as an emotion or the backgrounds of the family is actually waiting for their success. So if you can't help them, it's okay, but don't miss that. And for that, I always encourage my team that, like, first of all, this job, because if you just want to make money, I have other areas, you know, there we have a lot of things like, you know, support function. I said, I will put you there. You know, but if you really want to become a consultant now, then the first the quality needs is empathy. You had to have feel the other person.
I'm sure that is the main aspect that actually brought you and your team in wholesome. You are here in this position.
I think that has helped us to grow and to make our name in a market. And I'll tell you, like, you know, last year we did 13,000 visa grant, you know, and
so till today, in all these 15 years, if I ask, how many, whatever the
I think, frankly, like from the commercial point of view, I can tell you that, like, once upon a time we sold like 65,000 plus vouchers in PT, and then we had done, like, you know, more than 25,000 students prepared in a PT, because we had online coaching,
Yeah.
and the stuff. In immigration, even like, having such a big size of organization, like every year he does like 14 to 15,000 visa grant,
Okay.
So when it comes to the consultation and all those things, the number can exceed anywhere, So I can't actually put the numbers all together, but certainly we have actually realized that like we could have actually made clients for the small to big services, more than 180,000 people, and obviously from when it comes to the like dealing with the numbers of people, I think we have actually dealt with many number of people.
Yeah, definitely. So, what is your end goal, G?
See, there is no end goal.
The Aussizz itself, or you're planning something, or what exactly?
As I said, like I don't plan too far.
You told me.
I go with the flow, and I believe that like my job is to grow the company. So all the people who are aspiring to grow with the company, they can get the opportunity to grow within the company. At the same time, I really want to actually continue my journey in line with my value system, and that's why like my focus is more about making an impact rather than making the money. So while you do the good thing, the money is a side product, and I have actually seen the results. It's like today, whatever I am in terms of the financial freedom, I think I never think toward that direction, but because I was just kept pushing my boundaries, doing the good thing and creating the impact, I think it naturally has been rewarded, and so I just wants to continue the journey, because I still feel myself coming from the middle class family. I can see my parents' dream in line with my success. I believe that every single student coming across our company, I think they are the similar example. So if we can actually touch their life, I think it is more satisfactory, because from the financial point of view, I think I have done all my basic needs.
That's important. You're taking care. So, lastly, if I ask you, what do you want to tell to students who wants to migrate from any other country to any other country, not only Australia or any other country?
So
what do you say?
So I as being a student and coming this far and being in this industry, I can actually tell you one thing. First, like students has to understand this. In a consulting business, no one owns the knowledge. All the information is available online. What you need is you need a professional who can handhold and can guide you. It means that like you don't need to research too many things. Someone can actually give you an idea, and then you can certainly validate or verify that idea. So I believe that like don't believe blindly on any consultant. Be it like even my team's consultant. See, I believe that my consultants, if they are genuine and they're good, they must have the good advice. And validating that advice will actually brings more trust on my company. But at the same time, in our industry, there's a lot of people, knowingly or unknowingly, sometimes they don't have the knowledge, but they don't want to lose their customer, and sometimes it's not they want to do it purposefully, but accidentally or unintentionally it happens. And so a lot of people, they have the concerns over the consultant's knowledge and the advice. I would say that like you should actually explore 2-3 consultants, have to get an idea, have to validate it, and then if you see any of the consultant has actually advised you very well, I think you should choose that consultant and you should go for it. Second thing, you are going to new country as a student. Most of the time when students from India, when they decide to go abroad, they usually actually look at the pictures of those countries, lifestyle, and they feel that okay, this is what we're gonna be. But understand that like you are going abroad for a reason. Unless you are coming from a very rich, wealthy background and you are already academically good and you have your clear career pathways, it's all good. But apart from that, I think you have to felt your need. You have to understand your mission, why you're going there. You have to be prepared from your mindset that like the journey is going to be challenging, but it's going to be exciting. See, it is not that easy, but after going all those things and getting success, then your memory is going to be very golden. I will tell that like anyone who's coming in this country, the first 6 months and a year, they're complaining about everything. But after settling themselves in this country, if you ask about their journey, they take proud on what they do. You know what I mean? So I think it is the journey of every migrants. But it's just that like during that period, if the students are well prepared with their mission and they know that they accept that it is going to be challenging, but it is going to be fascinating and exciting. You know what I mean? I think it will make their journey easy.
Yeah. Definitely. No, as you said, exactly. This information is going to help a lot of students, migrants who wants to, and also with the policies and all. This is going to be a very interesting discussion. I think we can go on and on.
Yeah.
Definitely, we will plan other session with respect to each topic. I would like to take.
I think yes. we can discuss on these different topics.
Yeah. On that note, thank you so much. I'll end this here.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much for giving the time.
No worries, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.